Welcome to On Purpose Astrology. This video looks at the Pluto in Libra generation and what it means for you when Pluto is in Aquarius. Let's look at the dates to start with when Pluto was in Libra. So Pluto was in Libra between 1971 and 1984. So if you were born between October the 5th, 71 and April the 17th, 72, or July the 30th, 72, or November the 5th, 83, or even May the 18th, 1984, and August 28th, 1984, you will have Pluto in Libra. It goes back and forth because of the retrograde motion of Pluto. Don't worry if I've said that a bit fast to get the kind of boring technical bit out of the way. I'm going to put all these details, all these dates in the description below when I post this video so you can double check. So what I'm going to talk about now, before we talk specifically about what Pluto in Aquarius means to the Pluto in Libra generation, let's just look back on some of the themes from Pluto in Libra. So Pluto in Libra is concerned with the balance of power. Balance, of course, is a key word for Libra, and power, of course, is a key word for Pluto. The power of negotiation and compromise is another theme. Partnerships and coalitions. Seeking alliances. Libra likes to seek alliances. It might be finding alliances with people you might have thought of as your enemies in the past, for example. And this goes for the personal level and also across countries and political parties. Issues of war and peace. Libra likes peace. Libra likes to yield. But we're looking at the shadow side of Libra when we're talking about Pluto. So conflict, war, divisiveness, and the difficulty of finding the middle ground, leading to indecision or procrastination. It's interesting to note that while Pluto was in Libra, the USA pulled out of Vietnam following pressure from the peace movement. Another war and peace theme there. Partnerships of all kind, of course, come under Pluto in Libra. Quality is important to Libra. So this period, 71 to 84, saw increased equality for women and also for the disabled. Interestingly, you'd think marriages would increase with anything in Libra, but we're talking Pluto and the shadow. So marriages declined generally, particularly in Western countries, and divorces, splits, increased. Pluto in Libra, and Libra generally, of course, has something to do with law, justice, and the justice system. We're also seeing Pluto in Libra generation people coming into power. Pluto's about power, as we've just said, we've just established. And more female people, more females coming into power. Jacinda Ardern, for example, was Prime Minister of New Zealand for over 6 years. She presided over the global pandemic. She left in early 2023, saying that she didn't think she had enough energy in the tank, that the job was difficult and she wanted to leave before she burnt out, basically. Another female politician was Liz Truss. She was Prime Minister of Great Britain. Blink and you might have missed her, although she had a big impact in the less than 2 months that she served as Prime Minister before being forced to resign in 2022. She was followed by Rishi Sunak, a male Prime Minister of Great Britain who's still currently in office. Giorgia Meloni, another female, is one of the, she's a far-right leader in Italy. And then we have Emmanuel Macron, also Pluto in Libra, in France. If you'll notice, a few months ago, Emmanuel Macron wanted to raise the retirement pension age in France. There was mass protests as the citizens thought it was unfair. fairness, of course, is all about Libra, fairness and justice. They thought it was unjust. Justin Trudeau, also Pluto in Libra, who is obviously the leader of Canada. And then another leader with Pluto in Libra who really exemplifies having to go to war but wanting peace is Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. But what about Pluto in Aquarius? What will that bring? What themes might that bring into your life when Pluto is for you if you have Pluto in Libra? Well, while Pluto is in Libra, you will have an air trine aspect. So Pluto in the sky will trine your Pluto in Libra in your birth chart. It's always worth looking back to the last big transit of Pluto to Pluto in your chart. And for you, that would have been the Pluto square Pluto transit when Pluto was in Capricorn. So sometime over the last 14 or so years, depending on where your Pluto is in your chart, what degree. So it might be worth looking up when you had Pluto square Pluto in your chart. This is because some of the themes that you went through then, some of the issues, the themes, the difficulties, the changes that happen then, those themes might come back again. But because this is a trine aspect, it should be less intense. Trine is easier or more allowing. There's less resistance to change, but there's also less impetus to act. So with a trine, sometimes you need to kind of push yourself to make changes and to act. But it is a time to consider which of your lived values are still meaningful. Values is very much a Libra thing and also an Aquarius thing. They're both air signs, of course. Perhaps a time to consider the balance of power in your life and where power could be more equally shared. An awareness of the need to compromise, particularly in group situations, but also in partnerships. Libra is about partnerships. Aquarius is about groups. Perhaps it's time for a declutter, whether that's emotional, physical, or psychological. And of course, evaluating relationships and friendships. Perhaps reinforcing and reinvigorating those friendships and relationships that work for you. And elimination is a very good word for Libra, for Pluto, sorry. Eliminating those partnerships and relationships that are no longer serving you, that might be toxic, for example. Same for other attachments and involvements in groups and communities, as well as physical possessions. We just talked about decluttering. It might be a time for expressing more of your individuality and your authenticity as you begin to move into your elder years, into late middle age. Particularly as the 50s also brings the second Saturn return. The second Saturn return, of course, is all about maturity and growing older and having to face growing older. But it's a time of wisdom as well. Learning to speak your truth is another theme for Pluto in Libra when it has a transit from Pluto in Aquarius. It's also worth looking back to other Pluto transits you've had in your life, just maybe some of your personal planets. So you can see some of the themes then and where there might be unfinished business. Certainly another theme is more awareness of what is no longer working generally in society, where you see unfairness, helplessness, or disempowerment. There might be a strong urge to try and do something about it. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. I hope it will help you to prepare for the transits that you might have when Pluto is in Aquarius. Please do share this video if you think anyone else might find it interesting or benefit from it, and subscribe to this channel. And it's really lovely because I'm really enjoying making these videos for you, and I hope you enjoy them too.